We are on live.
Turn up, boys.
I miss Keith already.
Where's
I
Keith?
In places unknown, check the chat. Check our chat.
I came here to lead, not to read.
Truly the future. Hey everybody, we're gonna wait till everyone comes in. We're gonna wait like 2 minutes and then we're gonna get started. As per usual. What should I get for dinner today after this? It's not delicious.
Tacos.
No, it's not in the mood for tacos. We've had tacos so many times. So not in the mood for tacos.
Stop having tacos. So you can have tacos.
Tacos with you.
Moment.
Get toppers and a taco pizza.
Or just don't.
Yo, I love their taco pizza. Don't be hating. With nacho cheese sauce?
You gotta get the mac and cheese pizza. The mac and cheese pizza.
Don't say that to Ellen. Or I'll be driving to Chapel Hill right now to get some mac and cheese pizza.
So good though, Ryan. You really don't know. It's the real new thing. Okay. We're gonna get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Welcome to Damage Check 65.
65.
No.
65.
Really? Yeah.
Where we, this Team Absolution, give you the news, spoilers, everything and the like. I'm joined with, from Places Unknown, Versions Unseen, Nate, the Phantom Nate himself.
Oh, usually I'm last. Yay! Second place.
And then from slightly closer but yet unknown places, Ryan, the Doombringer, the Allbringers, the Great Bringer, Ryan Griffin.
I have pizza.
He does have pizza. I do not have pizza. So, continuing on with Damage Check 65, we got a lot of things to cover. Sorry, we've been out. We had an event that we had to host, and we had to plan for said event, and then we have another event that we had to go to, that we have to attend to this weekend. It's really a weird time. So, starting off, I'm gonna let Ryan finish his bite of pizza because the first thing we always do on Damage Check is we talk about spoilers, and we have a few to talk about, and we're gonna get started. So, Ryan, hit us with that spoiler reel.
Wailing Thavas. The effect is card's good. Stop asking me.
I like it.
All right. We're also. I don't think we've done Disaster Maelstrom, so we're going to do that one. Stride, Auto, Vanguard Circle. Choose a face-down card named Blue Storm, Return Dragon, Disaster Maelstrom. Yeah, he's back, boys. From your G-Zone, turn it face up. When this unit attacks, if you have a heart card with Maelstrom in its card name, you may pay the cost. And if you do, search your deck for up to one card with Maelstrom in its card name, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and if you have a card in your soul with Maelstrom in its card name, choose up to 3 units in your front row and they get power plus $1,000 a turn. Don't play this card. Go play something better. Next spoiler.
Ryan, do I need Maelstrom for that to work?
Yes, you actually do. You need about 3 on your heart, so you'll have to figure that out first.
I couldn't tell from all the Maelstrom in the effect.
No! That's all I gotta say about Maelstrom.
Don't do that.
No!
I mean, both strides are kind of disappointing. And if they worked with each other, they would be playable. But they don't, so don't do that thing.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the 2 Maelstrom strides?
First one. That would be
Yeah, there's Admiral Maelstrom from the Fighters Collection, and then there's this one. And if this one said flip anything with Maelstrom in the name, or flip anything at all, then Maelstrom would be a lot better, considering they have, a crazy late game murder you button. But since
they keep getting Maelstrom strides and they keep being bad.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. So sorry, all you Maelstrom speculators. Also, Glory is going to be absolutely the worst reprint, even though the art's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So sad. Oh, let me see here. Do we want to do gears? Nope, tired of that. All right. Let's see. I get all the fun when we haven't done spoilers in a while. It's like, what's worth our time? Oh, here we go. We'll go back on the Naru train real quick. Training Monk Dragon. This is, I believe, a common. Grade 1 Narukami Thunder Dragon. Auto Rearguard Circle Thunder Strike 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard during that battle, this unit gets power plus 2,000. Yay! 9,000 attack. Auto Rearguard Circle, GB1. Place the unit into the soul and choose one of your Vanquisher Vanguards. During that turn, it gets continuous Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's Rearguard Circles, and during that turn, during that unit's one attack, It battles all units that are the Vanguard and in the chosen rearguard circle.
That's
So it just
nice.
adds an extra attack to your dude.
That's
putting-
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel bad because Naru's just keep getting like so pooped on.
I mean,
Like-
they really had it the best with brawlers, and then just.
No, they had it the best with Descendant, and then
Well, I'm talking current era, my man. I'm talking like right now.
Yeah, I mean, VMAX isn't bad, but they have no support cards. Yeah, sure, they're getting some decent boss units, but they're getting nothing to support their bosses. And
No.
Vanguard isn't what it used to be, where like one stride tips the thing in your deck's favor. Well, hopefully it's not.
Kagero has 3 different cards that just run in and say, come in, murder something, do whatever you want. But because Narutami has the one extra step that needs his entire deck to work, we don't really feel like printing those cards. Here are some other crappy comments instead.
Take these nice and tasty comments.
So
Anything
much
else in the Ryan
fun.
and the school reel?
Oh, absolutely. Because now we're into the good stuff.
Yay.
Let's talk about the Spike G-Guard Juggernaut Maximum. They're really getting creative now. Auto, when this unit is placed on guard circle, it's G-Guarding. Choose one of your grade 2 or less rear guards, and you may have that unit get power plus 10,000 until end of turn. If you do, this unit gets power shield plus 10,000 until end of that battle. And at the end of that turn, put the rear guard on the bottom of the deck. So if you needed to bounce something back to the deck to protect it or to use it again later in part of a combo, you can do that. And also kind of protects that dude with a mini, like I guess, can't be attacked, kind of, considering it has, it's just a 19 dude sitting there, or however big you need it to be. That's nice. It's creative, and it goes with spikes, mechanic at least.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically assuring that it's gonna go back to the deck and not to the drop zone. Is basically what you're doing there.
You're doing your best anyway.
Yeah, I mean, unless like he's gonna retire with something else, like it's going to the bottom.
Yeah. So.
Which I
Not
mean,
much you can do there.
spikes
All
work
right.
from the spikes work from the deck, so it's a good thing because I mean it's better off in the deck than it is in the drop zone. They can't do anything when it's in the drop zone.
Right. So because spikes need their forever archetype, we have Sadistic King Dudley Caligula, Double R, Stride, Auto, Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from your hand and put them into your soul, and choose a face down card named, it's a Persona Flip. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, if you have a heart card with Dudley in its card name, you need Dudley for this. You may pay the cost. If you do, reveal 11 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 3 with Dudley in the card name from among them, call them to separate open rearguard circle, and they all get power plus 2,000 till end of turn, and then you shuffle.
See,
That's neat.
Cool. If
But
Dudley's did something worthwhile, that would be fantastic.
bring back Emperor. That was the best of times. I'm gonna murder you. I remember back when we had original Juggernaut Maximum Dudley Emperor, and that was the deck. What a time to be alive.
I remember when like spikes were nothing, and then Bloody Ogle, and then they were everything for a minute, and I was like, what?
And we're like, no, stop doing that thing. And they got some other support cards that are like, we gain power when other Dudleys are played, or you get like, I don't know, there's this new Dudley that is like a stride bearer for them, so it's kind of neat. It kind of goes along with like the old Emperor kind of mechanic. All right, so we're into, actually these are pretty cool. Some Blue Wave support, not in the form of dragons. You should still probably just play the dragons. Blue Wave Valiant General Artyom. He's a double R. Stride, Auto, Vanguard Circle. When your rear guard with Blue Wave and its card name attacks, that unit gets power plus 3,000 till end of that battle. And Act, Vanguard Circle once per turn, Soul Blast 1 with Blue Wave and its card name. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to 1 grade 3 with Blue Wave and its card name from among them. Place it on Vanguard as your heart, and shuffle your deck. So you get to search for what you want. So Anger Boil, Tetra Drive, whatever. This is just, you kind of get that thing. And if you place 1 or more cards, put all of your heart cards, other than the cards placed with this effect, into your drop zone. So you just replace it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Blue Wave Marine General Jason. During your turn, when your G unit with Blue Wave and its original card name strides, choose up to 1 card with Blue Wave in its card name from your hand, call it to rearguard circle. Choose one of your rearguards with Blue Wave in its card name. Until end of turn, it gets auto rearguard circle. At the end of that battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. Choose one of your other rearguards in the same column as this unit, and it changes position with this unit. Well, that's not bad, because they're kind of getting more into that mechanic, but it's probably not as good for the meta as Tetra Drive and Anger Boil are.
Yeah.
Here's the other
Limit
thing,
break
though,
is
that
good
I'm pointing
again.
out, that's like coming that I'm realizing is so. It kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. It's good to have good bosses, but you also need good support. This is why somebody asked earlier in the chat. I just didn't address it. That why are we hating on Maelstrom? Because Maelstrom doesn't get any support outside of bosses, and like you can keep stacking as many bosses as you want on Maelstrom, but unless you got some support to like do something, you're gonna have a bad time. Whereas like the Blue Storm stuff or the Blue Wave stuff has access to a lot of the Thavos support. As long as it has access to the 2 strides. Wait, does it have access to both strides?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has access to both strides, and it has access to its own restander. So it's pretty good. Sorry, I just wanted to say that as to like why I like Blue Wave. I also like Thavos. Check out our first timers from me trying to play Thavos. I didn't do well.
I thought you actually won that game.
I did win the game, but it doesn't mean I won.
You're right. So my thing about Maelstrom is I actually played the deck. My problem with it is that it has a nice gib at the end, and it has enough support, but the boss strides are just garbage. You don't play them at all. At least I didn't. I don't think they're that great, because they really fall off really quickly in comparison to just about anything else.
Like, why use Disaster Maelstrom when you can use Lambros? Why use Disaster Maelstrom when you can use
Commander or Wailing, something.
Commander or Wailing? Like, just I'm saying.
If it were easier to use them, then I could very well play that deck again. But I also really don't want to, because it's just another break right deck that sometimes works, and sometimes you'll get that kill. But I'd rather play the consistent Thavos or Blue Wave and just draw 7 cards and murder you. That's kind of where I like to play Vanguard. Is I don't really like to go for the one-off combos. So moving back into the Thunder Dragons, we have Wyvern Defender Gold. He is the mechanic PG. So he's Sentinel, he protects your Vanguard, and auto rearguard circle generation break 1, Thunderstrike 2, Soul Blast 1, and choose one of your other rearguards and retire it. At the end of the battle, if this unit boosted a unit with a Thunderstrike ability, you may pay the cost. And if you do, return this card to your hand, your opponent chooses one of his or her rearguards and retires it. So that's kind of cool. That's a little expensive, and you have to kill something else to use it. It kind of goes along with the, I think the Gears PG is kind of similar. The Time Leap PG or something.
It'll be fine in Vanquisher, but nothing else.
Yeah, pretty much. And my thing is they keep saying, you need stuff with a Thunderstrike ability. Yeah, but the thing about that is those units don't have the ability unless you already turn them on, and it just doesn't work that well. It's not a very good mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
That Thunderstrike is one of the very bad keywords. Whereas there are so many other
easy enough to do that.
It's not brave bad, but it is close.
No, I totally feel you.
I don't know. I think they're still going to play the Unflip PG. I think this is nifty, but no one's going to play it. So there's your 50-cent double R, everyone. Enjoy.
Yeah. It'll probably be at least $250 just because it's a PG.
Okay.
I'm skipping comments, and we have arrived at...
I think we're skipping comments.
We're skipping comments. This one was actually pretty interesting. Pulsar Farm Peacock. It's a ZTB from the character booster, actually, moving on into that for some reason. Also, all the spoilers on GBT09 are out, and you can find them not right here. But the set will be out pretty soon, I think, if it's not already. So auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle from your deck due to Time Leap, until end of turn, you may have this unit get continuous rearguard circle. This unit cannot be put into your deck by the effect of cards. So basically, you can make it stay there instead of having it go anywhere else. But if you're playing Time Leap, you're probably playing combo, and this thing is just going to be gone anyway. You don't typically leave something like this lying around.
You want to keep going combo, man. You want to keep going combo. Never stop the Wombo combo. Never want to stop the Wombo combo.
And as I scroll through Drevlin's many illustrations, I'm reminded that I'm going to have to cover some Neonectar support.
For everything he does for us by providing us spoilers.
Yes, indeed.
The correct answer to that question, Ryan.
So we're on into character booster. There are a few GBT09 ones we didn't cover, but that was kind of in the space. and we don't really want to go back to those. So into the character booster, Ranunculus of Searing Heart Asha, the new Neonectar Stride Bearer, Bloom, Auto, Vanguard Circle, Generation Break 2. When your other unit with the same card name as this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, countercharge 1 and soul charge 1. Auto, Vanguard Circle. At the end of each turn, choose a card from your hand and you may call it to Rearguard Circle. And Auto, Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. During your turn, when your G unit strides, you may pay the cost. And if you do, choose one of your Rearguards, search your deck for up to one card with the same card name as that unit called to Rearguard Circle, shuffle your deck, and the unit called with this effect gets boost until end of turn.
That effect is toasty. That effect is toasty.
I think this one's pretty tasty. I like it.
That effect is toasty. I like that whole card. Actually, I'm kind of happy with the Asha support. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of toasty. I would agree that it is spicy. Nate, do you think it is spicy?
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but I just want to see what Royals and Gears are going to do, because I don't think they're going to get that support.
Kronos Command. Yeah, Kronos Command.
Are they still going? Are they going to be good? Sure. Are they going to be worse? The worst of the three? Probably.
Especially with my Amal support. I mean, not Amal support. I mean, Alfred. Totally meant Alfred. My bad.
Speaking of your Alfred support, this is more Neonectar spoilers. Flower Princess of Beautiful Winter Inverno. GR from the character booster, 1 of 3. Stride, Act, Vanguard Circle, once per turn. Soul Blast 1, choose a total of up to 5 normal units from your drop zone and Rearguard Circle. Return them to your deck and shuffle your deck. If you return 5 cards, countercharge 1, soul charge 1. Auto, Vanguard Circle, Generation Break 2. Counterblast 1 and choose a card from your hand and discard it. When the unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, you may pay the cost. And if you do, choose one of your units with the Bloom ability, search your deck for up to 2 cards with the same card name as that unit, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So what this tells me is I'm just going to put all my PGs back forever, and you can't stop me.
Enjoy.
Also, I will have you notice that this is not any kind of persona flip, so you can have as many of this as you care to use.
Up to 4.
Well, yes. It's not one of those weird 16 cards.
Like that one stand trigger.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. And we also got the G Guardian, Flower Princess of Passiflora. All right. Her name is Marlena. That's what you're going to call her. G Guardian, when this unit is placed on Guard Circle, choose one of your units. If you have 2 or more units with Ranunculus in its card name, or you have 4 or more units with the same card name as the unit chosen with this effect, this unit gets shield plus 15,000 until end of turn.
I like it, but I'm also kind of weirded out by it, because it's like, I like it.
You got options.
But because I like the options, like you can do this or this. But I think that the first is going to be easier than the second. But the second is there, which is nice.
Well, I mean, at least they're not designing it into a space where it can only be used in one deck. Defeat Flare. Aha.
Or almost all of the Narukami G cards.
Pretty much, yeah. Exactly. Sitting on Ryu forever. So that was a nice little touch. And it's, they power creep G guards again, so now this one's just like, well, Neos suck. Here's some defensive power.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm going to talk about the Forerunner anyway, because it is kind of cool. It's actually from the trial deck. Act Rearguard Circle, Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul. Choose a card from your drop zone, put it on the bottom of your deck, and if that card has the Bloom ability, draw a card. But the better effect is Act Rearguard Circle, rest this unit. Choose 2 of your units, and those units will be regarded as a unit with the same card name as each other until end of turn.
That is cool. That is nice.
It's an enabler.
I like that.
We need those.
That is spicy.
Those are nice.
That is nice. I really like it. I do think Neonectar will be like really interesting to see after that set. It just kind of depends on what Nate said. Gears and Royals are gonna run the table if Bushi's not careful, and well.
I'm pretty sure we're not gonna have much to fear on that, but we'll see. It could be really cool. I'm okay with them being as good as any other deck, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
I mean, yeah.
And that concludes today's spoiler reel.
However, Gears already have 3 of the best G guards in the game. And they're getting one in this set, and I highly doubt it will be bad. So, good for Neonectar for getting a good one. I just fully expect Gears and maybe Royals to screw that plan.
Is that it for the spoiler reel?
Why, yes.
Perfect. So while he takes a minute to eat his delicious pizza, we'll go quickly through news. This week was actually kind of interesting for Vanguard because there was a few tournaments and Nate's compiled some data, which is nice.
Because I do hard work.
He does do hard work. So speaking towards that, knocking out our shameless plug for our own tournament, we did have a tournament at Charlotte. Get some game. We appreciate again their support for us. We had 51 players, which was very great turnout. We were very happy with that. 51 players spanning many different clans. The top clan was 7 with Kagero. Second top. I mean, this data is all available on our Facebook page. We've also posted it to many Facebook groups. All pretty much the clan distribution. I think even the sub clan distribution.
Basically, we had everyone except Shadows, OTT, and Nova Grapplers. Everything else.
One of them. But the top was
Rambu and Nubatama.
The top 3 were Kagero, Gear Chronicle, and Aquaforce. Off the top of my head. The winner of our event, which we considered the event was really well done. There was some streams as well. The winner was Blade Master, and the runner-up was Aquaforce, which I thought was very, very interesting. That kind of turnout. If you'd asked me what I thought was going to win at the beginning, the last thing I would have said was Blade Master. And it ran the table. And I got to see an amazing player play a deck that looked like it could just destroy anything it touched. Granted, he was in a very favored he was in a much favored matchup in the finals, I would say, because it was like Kagero versus Aquas, and I mean he was like burning that deck to the ground. But I mean he still held his own against Gears. He still held his own against anything, really, and it was impressive. And congratulations to top there. You want to jump in, Ryan, or anything about any comments? Or Nate as well, obviously. All right, Nate, say something about this tournament because the soccer sounds killed me.
It was great. We had 51 players. You didn't say his name, but Ramiro Mathis with Blade Master Kagero went first place. I think he only dropped 1 game in Swiss, or did he go undefeated in Swiss?
No, he dropped against the.
He dropped his last round.
Yeah, he dropped his last round against a Gear player. That Gear player was elegant too. He knew how to play Gears. I forget his name, but he was a good player. He also made top 8 as well. So I think he made
You're
top
gonna watch
4.
me play that Blade Master deck real quick though.
I bet you it was Grant Morgan. Or
It was in
Kyle
fact Grant
Miller.
Morgan.
I'm not entirely certain.
But aside from that, there was another 1K in Ohio. No Limit Gaming hosted that, I believe. I don't have any information. Nate, do you have any information regarding that tournament?
I do.
It had 118 players.
I'm glad you had 104. Don't give them more credit, Ryan. Gah! Trying to kill us. First place was Grand Blue 7 Seas Rush. I'm so thrilled. Second place was Gear Chronicle Chronojet G.
That's to be
I'm so
expected.
surprised. Top 4 were Aquaforce Ripples. Hello, Ryan. Ripples are back. Enjoy it.
Was
What
it
a
Janice?
return.
Tell me it was Janice.
Then we had Gear Chronicle, Great Nature, Nova, and Genesis. And that rounded up
What a
the rest
god.
of the top 8. So that was their tournament. 3 Gear Chronicles being incredibly notable. Grand Blue Rush being incredibly notable.
We had a Grand Blue Rush player, but he was eliminated pretty quickly.
See, that's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm wondering if Grand Blue Rush is something that can potentially do very poorly in Swiss because it's more likely to hit the rogue decks and mess up. But when it does go to top, it just runs the table against things
Especially
like
if there's a lot of gears.
Kagero. Yeah.
Do we have interesting question, Nate? Did we have total distribution on clan from that tourney?
We do not.
You see, if I had that information, then we can make an assessment because let's say there's a ton of Gears players here at that one. Like, he could easily queue into those, which he has a decent match. Like, I would say that's a meta call, obviously. Rush decks are meta calls. And if he called it right, then Ryan, mute yourself. You're chewing.
There we go.
Thank you. So, oh wow! I'm just saying, dude. If we had more information, we could decide whether or not this was a meta call. And if it is, then I agree with what Nate says. If it can queue into what it needs to in Swiss, then it can run the table.
That's just my theory. Based on seeing how we had a Grand Blue Rush player do very poorly, and this one just kind of ran the whole show. But, interesting questions we must answer later.
Thoughts on that, Ryan?
I mean, yeah. If there's it's 50% gears and other GB lock decks, and a rush deck comes in and just hits all of those in Swiss, and it's a clear path to the top real quick, because we know those are the only decks that we know that those are the decks that the deck does well against, as well as taking wins off of anything else. So it's got a fluctuating win rate there. Yeah. The guy at our tournament was not quite so lucky, I would say.
No.
Continuing on, what other event do we have here, Nate?
The following day, so those two events were on Saturday the 12th. The next day, Sunday, ARG San Jose out in California had an event. They had a 39-player event. First place also went to Grand Blue 7 Seas. I believe that was 7 Seas Rush as well, though I'm not 100% certain. Second place went to Gear Chronicle Chronojet. Third place, top 4, went to Royal St. Guard Alfred Blasters. Link Joker, Freeze Ray Messiahs, and then top 8 was Nubatama Shiranui, Grand Blue 7 Seas, Non-Rush, Aquaforce Blue Wave Thavas, and Nova Grappler Extreme Battlers.
Why must we specify that it's not Rush?
Well, just making a difference. It was 7 Seas, but it was not a Rush variant.
Do we have data on its claim?
We do not. We do not. We need to run more tournaments so we can have all the info.
Well, we'll get to that. But anything else, Nate, as far as tourneys go? I think there was one more, right?
No, that was it. The other tourney I was talking to you guys about was ARG Atlanta, which was a week before ours. So
I got you.
Not new, but takeaways from the weekend: Chronojet and Grand Blue. Enjoy the meta.
Which is why I'm saying that I'm pretty sure that the Grand Blue is a meta call to the Gears.
The Gear Chronicle.
I'm almost positive. I mean, I don't want to say I'm almost positive, but I'm sure that it is a meta call for that deck, and that deck is seeing a lot of play. Therefore, it's a perfect response. You're laughing, Ryan, and I don't know why.
Because you said I don't want to say I'm positive, but I'm sure that I'm like that's the same thing. Like you got 6 of one and half a dozen of the other.
The minute I say I'm positive, here comes the flame. I can feel it from the chat box. Like, well, no, the deck stands on its own.
I mean, in all fairness, I don't think it's just Gear Chronicle. I think Messiahs, as we've seen, have had a huge surge. They're almost exclusively GB locked, except for Freeze Ray, so it has a great matchup against them.
And then they only play a limited amount of that. So
exactly. I think our Messiah player only played 1 Freeze Ray. So kind of like where are the chances of him hitting it? You have Extreme Battlers took a number of tops, so they're GB locked. You've got and Genesis, Fenrir Wiseman. It is I don't think it's exclusively GB locked, but it is very GB reliant. So I don't think it's just Gear Chronicle, though I think it contributes. I think the entire meta has got to a point where we're relaxing into GB a little bit. We're not seeing as much of the Saint Guard, let me kill you before you stride type of deck.
And here's Grand Blue.
Grand Blue.
People are going to ask, how do I play against 7 Seas Rush? And I think the response to that is you don't. I think because you can't really meta call that meta call without
losing everything else.
Without losing everything else. So Bushiroad is still designing us into a space where we have to play Gears to have a better chance. granted, if you run into the person whose deck is designed to beat yours and only yours, then you're not going to win.
Mhm.
But there isn't a deck that works against Grand Blue Rush and then is going to be able to destroy everything else. I mean, something that holds them down, like a purely freeze ray deck or maybe like Chaos or something, that might see a resurgence, but I don't think that those things are going to compete well enough against the rest of the meta for us to see those results. Like, no one's going to walk in and say, I built this deck specifically to beat Grand Blue Rush. And that's why I won't want to say we're not taking it seriously. That deck is absolutely devastating. It's incredibly nasty in what it does, and it's super cool for that. But you can't do anything with it or against it. You can either play it yourself and hope for the best, or you can not do that and probably have a better chance anyway.
The thing is, if I just had like
Really?
a Link Joker unit that could lock something at like grade 2 that wasn't Mobius, like Mobius Breath or something, that'd be great. But I don't. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's like you can play against the entire meta with the exception of this one deck, or you can play exclusively against this one deck.
That's never a good plan unless it's a triangle meta.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
so-
It's like, yeah, you're kind of screwed because there's no really way to play. Like, you're either playing against the meta or you're playing the meta. You can't find it. Only in triangle metas can you find it in between. We haven't seen one of those in a while.
Praise.
So, moving on from tournaments and on to topics.
No, we got set 10. Set 10, boys.
Oh, we did get to 10. Forgot.
Yes, that's why I was doing this earlier.
Oh, how could you forget?
Oh, I forgot. Keith blew up the phone yesterday, which is going to lead us straight to our topic, actually.
Mhm.
So, set 10 is going to support Gears or not Gears. Wait, Gears?
Not Gears. No Gears.
Set 10 does not have Gears. It's going to be Golds, Royals, Shadows, Novas, Murakumo,
Neonectar,
Tachikaze,
Tachikaze, Cray Elementals.
and Gray Elementals. So it's exciting, and I'm pretty excited. But let's talk about the highlights here. Number 1, Garmore. Yes.
Stop it.
Garmore.
Get some help.
That mat that everybody wanted. I'm hoping for some actual legitimate Liberator support. Like, not Blue Wave support,
Well,
but Liberator support. Or
maybe
not
you'll finally
Blue Wave. Blue Flames.
Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the Seeker set because we haven't seen any Royals.
Like, I want that. I want that badly. I need it, actually. So I'm excited. I'm hoping we get golds. We get some golds. Some good gold stuff.
Also, shout out to Organizer
next.
slipping in here.
Yeah.
And yes, it is actually Liberator support. In case you were wondering,
The dream is alive.
I think it's time to stop.
We should go buy all the Garmores. Oh wait, they're all gone. I think we actually have 4 Garmores sitting around, by the way.
We do.
Yeah, buddy, we do.
Anyway, so what's actually being supported in the set? All the keywords mentioned in the set so far. Gurgoit getting its second evolution. Gaia from Tachikaze getting its second evolution. Victor, very, very sexy, second evolution. Another evolution for Yasui. Randomly Garmore. Aura Geyser, just mentioned. There is no image for that yet. And finally, Blaukluger, finally coming back.
Did you say Gurgoit?
That was the first thing that I said, Jose.
My bad. Get that one.
Okay. Blaukluger coming back. Going straight into the topic. Well, the SP packs are Tachikaze, Murakumo, and Nova Grappler. So, yeah, I don't know how much value you'll have there, but yeah, that's all right.
Blouse. I'm sure the audience is like going crazy that we just like brought like blouse. Like, no, there's a lot of hype going on. Braxton, I think, broke his computer. He broke the universe. And the entire community blew up the secondary market. So it's gonna be great. So it's I'm excited for Blau. I mean, it's been 3,000 years since Blau's got a support. It's
3,000 years.
I think it's
so. Blau's getting support is some crazy news, but it's all going to depend on what kind of support it is. It could be like Zillion and get nothing. Is it going to be good, bad? Who knows? I mean, we won't know. But that leads us into, unless there's any more news that we forgot.
Nope.
I think we should go straight. Okay. So I'm gonna preface this topic because I'm gonna say like a lot of the times we all agree on stuff on Team Absolution. Nate, Ryan, and I, Keith, we all consent. We all agree. Let's just say we all agree on a lot of topics when it comes to Vanguard. But there are certain topics that we don't agree on, and we have vigorous debate about them. One of such topics is the secondary market of Vanguard, where I have a very stark opinion from a lot of the other members. So we're going to talk, and the reason we're talking about this is because it's a good topic, because the minute that Garmore and Blouse were announced as supported and those images were revealed, every single Garmore was gone and every single Galaxy Blau Cougar was gone. I don't know if Stern's still there. I'm sure he's still there.
Oh, yeah.
And Mond maybe's gone as well. What now?
There are a turn of Stern Blau Cougar left. A ton.
Oh, yeah, it's because it actually got a reprint, like a good reprint. Like one that was actually a lot of the same card.
A double R. It got worse foiling.
Yeah, but it was in a double R. It was a double R in a box, but it was actually like a common double R. It came in like 2 sets, and it's not a 1 of 4 reprint. Thanks, next stage. Like,
it's a common double R. I just need to take that in for a minute. Just the amount of contradiction there.
It's time to stop.
Double R. Ugh.
it was a common double R. I'm telling you, it was. I know this because when Braxton bought his 8 boxes, he built me a Stern deck. Like,
We still have that deck.
But the
like
Garmores are gone, and everyone hated Garmore back then, by the way. I'm surprised it sold out. Like, that card was garbage when it came out. Like, I didn't play that deck. I built that deck, never played that deck.
Not even once.
But all right, so let's talk. Ryan, let's get your opinions first. Then Nate, is there something wrong with the secondary market? If it is, what is it? And if there is, whom is to blame? Continue.
All right. So my thing with the secondary market is, yeah, it's gotten bad to the point where if you want to play the game, you can't be behind on this. There's only so many readily available to go around. They're either sitting in people's binders and they're not out in the open, or they're on TCG Player, or on a different card shop site, or on eBay, or Amazon, or something. But the fact that, Keith said to me, I've been waiting on Blau Cougars for years, and as soon as we got that set 10 thing, it said, Ryan, I need you to buy me Blaus right now. And the first thing I did, because I know that if I wait 2 more minutes, that I'm going to be out of luck. So I went straight to TCG Player, bought everything we needed, and had it shipped to me. And just like me, everybody else has to do that because everybody now knows that that's the way we've talked about this before. We talked about it with Zunbaku. We talked about it before that, again, with Alice. So this is our 3rd or 4th time talking about this same topic, and I'm telling you, you don't have a choice. There is no choice. It doesn't matter whose fault it is in my mind. I know that this is the way the game is played. These are now the rules. You want to play this old deck, it doesn't matter. You go straight to TCG Player, you buy everything you need immediately for whatever price they just happen to be. And if you decide at some point that you don't want that, well, you may just miss your chance. And it's not even, it could be people that want to make a quick dime, like off of Zanbaku or something, where that, went, skyrocketed real quick. It could be some of those people trying to just buy out the market because they know they can put it back on for twice the price. But a lot of the times, it's just the players who want to play the deck and realize that they can't do it if they don't move now. So whose fault is it? Everybody's fault. It's Bush's fault.
Ryan blames the whole thing.
I blame the whole system. Bushiroad gives us some vague reprint thing for cards that existed long ago, which I don't think is a good idea. Mark my words. I've said this before. Stop reprinting old stuff. Burn it all. Keep going. Move forward.
You mean stop reviving stuff?
Stop reviving stuff. It's not good for the secondary market because this exact thing happens and has been happening. Started with Alice, kept on going. And so, just beside that, I'm saying that, and then it's, the player's fault for trying to make a quick buck. Is that their fault? No. But they've taken advantage of the system and it's gotten to the point of abuse. And then players now, like I said, they know the rules. If you want to play Blouse, buy all your stuff immediately because you're not going to get another chance.
Your chance is kind of gone now. But
It is now. You had to be there yesterday at 9 a.m.
rip.
So
Go
those are my
ahead.
opinions.
You're next.
The whole system is bad.
I mean, I guess my opinion is okay. I'm trying to think of how to say this nicely. I don't think anything's broken. I think this is just how markets work. I'm sorry. I mean, go to economics, go to a communist country if you want it to be different. This is just how it works because, I mean, who is getting rewarded? You've got your collectors, they're rewarded for keeping their old stuff. And speculators, they get rewarded because, hey, like if I'm wanting to speculate on cards, I'm looking at what hasn't got support, what has the potential to be supported. Okay, I held on to my Raging Forms, partly for sentimental reason, but there was always that chance that, hey, they could do something with Revengers that could bust this card wide open. Happens they did. If I were to want to speculate now, okay, what Shadow, or in general, what subclan hasn't got a lot of support? I would say Shadow Witches. I can go out and get a Witch deck for like $80.
Didn't you?
Easy. You can. I have, in fact. So if they bust Witches wide open, I'm not gonna be mad and like, oh, why'd everyone buy out Witches? It took a little bit of thinking and a little bit of risk to say, you know what, I'll make the small investment to maybe triple my money. And at the end of the day, the people that get those cards, I don't understand why people are mad, because it's like saying, okay, I see this news coming out. It's like a headline that says, hey, if you have like $40, you can quadruple your money if you buy something right now. I'm sorry, people take advantage that way. That's just how it works. I'm not going to be mad at them if someone said, hey, if you give me $5, I'll give you $20. Hopefully you wouldn't be mad at me because I'm taking that deal. That's pretty sweet. So I don't see the problem in the system. I see how, like, if you're on a budget, yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, that's markets and that's card games. So if you're not willing to speculate and if you're not available to be at the forefront of the news, you're going to have to pay a little bit. Sorry. If that makes sense. So I don't think anyone's to blame. That's just how it works. Kind of get over it. I'm sick of hearing people rant about it. Anyways, Jose, just go and contradict everything I just said, please. I invite you.
So,
there we go.
Both of my opponents here have made very valid arguments, and they made very valid points. That being said, here's why they're all wrong. So, no, I'm totally kidding. They make a lot of points, and at the end of the day, they're right. Free markets are free, and the secondary market's a free market. However, who is to blame? People are going to keep complaining because for as much as people are going to exploit things, which they're going to keep exploiting things because people are people, we also have to remember that, yes, secondary markets are free markets, right? But they're not, because you've got a Fed, and he kind of produces everything. And he decides what kind of policies are going to be enacted and what's going to go where. And that's Bushi. And they're going to decide exactly on how they're going to produce cards and at what ratio they're going to produce them and how that's going to have an effect. So where does this all really start? So it starts with revivals. And it started with the Fires collections. Now, I'll be the first one to say, 9 times out of 10, when a card gets revived, it's utter garb. Look at really any of them, like Sealed Dragons.
Zerakiel,
Zombaku, which we thought was going to be good, and then it wasn't.
Shocker.
We could go on and on and on about subclans that got support, or old cards that got support that ended up just completely falling on their face. But the issue is, the times where they did make it good, they made it completely devastating.
Chaos,
Ripples, Vanguard, Chaos. The 1 time out of 10 that they did make it good, they made it destructive. They made it meta breaking. I mean, I'm sure Nate could spend the next hour and a half talking about how much he hates Vanguard because of what it did, to a certain point, what it did to the game, which was not a healthy thing. And so it's what we're talking about is people then become fear and expectations run rampant and speculation. While some speculation is completely healthy, but there's also speculation that is completely dangerous. Because speculation and expectations are how bubbles are formed, and bubbles are only destined to pop, which is why Vanguard can never retain the value, because these expectation and hype is built and builds these cards up to an astronomical value. And then when people realize that the value isn't there, things tank just as hard as they came up. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
The EVs of boxes have dropped significantly in the past few sets just because everything is now like everyone's looking at both ways. What's going to be good is going to be good. We got to buy all these things, or we buy all the boxes and flood the market because everyone thinks they're going to make their money back, and now no one is making their money back. You have to pull an SP pack to have even a chance of making your money back on any large purchase.
So the problem starts with the idea of reviving, like Ryan said. It's very dangerous to the secondary market, like exactly as he described. He was not wrong when he said that. However, the only problem is with that is that you invite this design that if you're going to revive things, you need to reprint them. And you could argue that, yes, they are reprinting them, except, oh, wait, no, they're not. Because what they're making is alt art luxury cards that are only going to appeal to collectors. Now you can say, yes, but that still increased the supply. But not nearly enough, because the percentage of people who are going to update their decks does not fill the market back up with enough copies of that card that will make the card its price change elastically speaking. What I mean by saying like that, let's take an example, CBD. CBD right now is about $12 when I checked this morning. I guarantee you that if we looked at from when it was hyped up to when the set actually released, when the set actually dropped, so when the supply entered the market, I bet you that the price did not fluctuate that much, and its fluctuations could be attributed to the deck's performance, which is what should be driving prices in this market, not arbitrary images and support claims. What should drive the market should be speculation based on performance. Not speculation that, oh my God, what if this is one of those 10 times where Bushi breaks Blouse? And knowing Bushi and Blouse, they'll probably do it, and it probably is a safe investment. Speculation is healthy, expectations are fine. But when they run rampant, you end up with, like, there's a famous economic story about, like, the Danish flower bulbs. When expectation and speculation got so high, and, like, they realized, like, these are fucking bulbs. Like, these are flower bulbs. And then the entire economy crashed. You have to be careful when we talk about free markets, which is why there aren't any free markets really in the world. Outlooks are frail, and people can't be trusted. One, because you got exploitation on one hand, and you got the supplier on the other hand, and they're both screwing you. So there's a reason that certain levels of restrictions exist in markets. And that's why, like, who's to blame? Like, a lot of people are getting mad, and they're saying that the player base is to blame. I don't completely disagree with that. However, you're also asking people to not be people. Like Nate said, people are going to keep exploiting and speculating. We play Vanguard all day, every day. Well, not all day, every day, but we play it at a higher level than the average player.
But we
Therefore,
hours every day. Don't worry.
That is true. But at a certain point, like, we like to make our profit. We like to make money when we can, and we like to cut costs where we can. Therefore, the minute I think the Blouse will be good if it gets support. Therefore, and Keith certainly does. So Keith tells Ryan to go get the cards, obviously. Now, I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think anybody should have a problem with somebody picking up cards. But I'm pretty sure Ryan only picked up 4 of the staples and 4 of Galaxy. Am I correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Now,
we only needed one,
and completely ransack the market for, for their own gain. There's a reason why on Black Friday or most any shopping holidays, a lot of goods are, limit 2 per customer, limit so much per something. Because you don't need 8 of this 3DS that's $99 unless you plan on flipping it for some money. And that's just not fair. And so Are the players to blame in part? Absolutely. I blame the company because they're the ones producing the cards, and if they would just actually produce reprints like the way they did Stern, like I believe how they're going to do the Revival Collection because it's mostly reprints, so they can't mess that up. If they short print one of the reprints in that set, they are demons. But when you can't say that they're making reprints when they make SGR reprints. Those aren't reprints. Those are like when the SGR Legion Rare for the Abyss pair came out, I'm pretty sure that the regular Triple R still didn't take that deep a dip of a price. Was it affected? Maybe, but not enough where it would make that big of a change compared to how high the deck was at the time. So that's my 2 cents there. Rebuttals?
I'm looking on TCG Player right now for a card that should it have been reprinted. Let's take, all right, we talked about Chaos Breaker. There's maybe about 40 or 50 Chaos Breaker Dragons on TCG right now. Those are the people that are selling them. So, or the game stores that are on TCG Player. And they're probably, let's say that in the United States, there may be 80 copies of the card that are readily available online if you looked right now. That's 20 playsets. Vanguardians has 10,000 members. Granted, those members are most likely, some of them don't live here, so we can count them out. So let's say that 90% are US-based. Let's say even a fraction of that wants a playset of CBDs. That's tiny in terms of supply. And everyone can get them with the click of a button. And so at that point, does it become unfair that people just, one, the supply doesn't exist for all the support that Bushi is cranking out, and two, that some people are going to want to say that, well, I just want to buy all 80 CBDs just in case, or because I'm slightly faster than the next guy. I mean, that's the thing with football tickets now, is you can't possibly buy a ticket at the gate for an NFL game unless that team sucks some serious ass, because
look at you, Brown.
Scalpers are just going to go and grab them. And then we all have to pay their prices because there isn't any regulation on that. You can do it with a script. You could just have a bot watching it, and the millisecond it comes out, you can buy all of them if you want to. Is that fair? I don't believe so. And I think is it the fault of the company because they want to make money? No. But in the interest of fairness to their community, you're burning a lot of people, and eventually it'll bite you. You may not lose the money, but eventually when, let's say everyone decides to boycott, then what happens? Then where does your money go? You might still get the money, but then the scalpers stop.
That's kind of what I was saying, Ryan, when I said that, you're getting screwed by the community who's doing the scalping and buying the cards. Then you're getting screwed by the company who's not producing the reprints accurately. And at some point, you're getting screwed so much, you're just going to stop playing. And that's a problem. I think that's a viable threat to a lot of players. I cut Nate off because I think he was about to say something.
Can I play devil's advocate for the company?
Yes, you can play devil's advocate for the company.
So this will be my defense of Bushy Road. I hope I do you justice.
Oh, here we go.
So there are 3 scenarios I see happening, none of which makes the community whatsoever happy. One, we go back to the old style that Jorge specifically ranted about all the time, how power creep just rotates things out and makes things utterly garbage. Unless its name is Silent Tom, after 3 or 4 sets, after a new mechanic comes out, old cards are garbage. You can't play them, they sell for crap. So Vanguard has no value. You have the current system where they're trying to put value in and not screw over everyone that already has the cards. Or you have a system that you guys kind of talked about where you reprint the card at almost a double R rarity, like you suggested with Blau Kluger, whatever his name is, in which case I think you screw over Stern, that's his name, in which case you screw over everyone that had an OG copy. Had they reprinted Raging Form at a double R, I would be so pissed off that I have 4 of my OG that I thought were valuable enough to hold on to for the hope that it could get support, only for Bushy to say, don't worry if you didn't think that far ahead, don't worry if you made that speculation, don't worry if you were intelligent enough to think about that, we're just going to reprint it, bring it down to $15 a pop, $10 a pop, whatever you want it to be, in which case you have alienated me as a collector. So I think you have 3 scenarios, none of them are good, all of them alienate players, in which case Bushiroad, like we have seen them do so many times, just kind of takes the middle road where they're really kind of pissing off both ends of the spectrum.
That's a fair point. I won't argue that. I agree that there are 3 types of solutions. I agree solution 3, in my opinion, is the best and makes the fewest people mad, is my opinion, and keeps the game, which is what the company should be its most longest concern, is the longevity of the game. And I would say that it's probably the vendor that's the problem here, because like it's the sellers that are the issue. If you reprint cards at because that's when the value. Because that's what a lot of Konami people that I've met, or like Yu-Gi-Oh players I met, their issue with reprints is that it completely destroys the value of a card that they have when it gets released in a tin or something like that. At least that's back when I used to talk to like storekeeps and stuff like that. But, however, its main concern should be the longevity of their game in the long run and the health of their game. And this is not healthy. This is very unhealthy. It makes their game artificially more expensive. Versus, to me, a deck's value should come from its performance and nothing else. And, it's bling. It's rarity of where it comes from in a set. I will agree with that. But what we have here is a situation that's ticking off the players, not the collectors. And at the end of the day, the company should care most about its players and not necessarily its collectors. Though another argument one could revert back to is that the collectors are the ones really buying most of the boxes. And that's a fair point as well. And you get into a loop, but the point is the company's concern, in my opinion, should be the longevity of their game as a whole going on the future. And the only way they're going to be able to maintain that is to protect the players. And the only way to protect the players is to print more reprints. And print reprints in our altars.
And I have a fairly anti-collector mindset myself. I mean, I think as a collector, you take on risk inherently as, I think this card will be valuable someday. It may very well not be. It may get reprinted in a tin like Yu-Gi-Oh does, so more players can access it. And then you've burned a collector, but you've helped 1,000 others get this card. Or you burn a few hundred collectors, but you help 1,000 people get this card. I can't back when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I can't afford Steel Swarm Roach at $100 a pop to stay competitive. I just didn't want to do it. They lost me as a player, well, aside for other reasons. But it gets reprinted in a tin. I'll pick that up. That's what, $20, and I get some free packs. I'm okay with that. So I think you take on some risk with being a collector and hoarding all of these cards. Eventually, you're going to get punished. There's just putting in a little money at the beginning and hoping just probably isn't enough risk, really.
And to a certain point, you kind of do. I mean, I don't know how many Vanguard stores sell singles, but you would obviously affect them as well with reprints. And I'm all about supporting an LGS, don't get me wrong. However, the LGS is also going to take a huge hit if the game dies. And there aren't players to play the game, which is another problem. So that's why I always I follow the trail and blame the company. And that's because it's up to they're the ones producing the cards. And at the end of the day, they can find a solution that pisses off the fewest people. Now, granted, you can't please all the people all the time. But you can please a lot of the people some of the time. Well, why don't we shoot for that instead of pleasing only a few of the people some of the time? That's all I'm saying.
See, but I think historically, if you look at Bushiroad decision-making, they have always really supported collectors and vendors far more than the average player. Look at their rarity distribution. It solely benefits people that buy bulk product. That guy who buys a crap ton of the Bermuda Clan Booster, he is rewarded the most from that set being printed, more so than the average player. When you go to Bushiroad World Championships, who do you think is making the most money? The player trading or the vendor?
Ryan Griffin.
Hello? Did you ring?
From Ryan. Their tournament setup is obviously not to support the player. They have vendors there. So I really think at the end of the day, they're trying not to piss those people off. Though, whether that's
fine, but I would say that
that's another discussion.
That's exactly my point, though, is I could sit here and rant and rave for hours on poor Bushiroad decision-making, and we would be here for days. hours, weeks, years even maybe. But that's all I'm saying. The question that we handle is there something wrong with the secondary market? And I say yes. Who is to blame? The company. And why are they to blame? Because they're not doing smart things. But nothing's new on the Bushi front there. So, but they did give us, I do want to give credit where credit is due. They have produced a revival set. That is a reprint set with some new cards. But that is a reprint set, and that is a right direction, in my opinion. I like that. I will give Bushi that win because it is winning. I'm not going to sit here and hate on them all the time when I bet that is clearly a good decision they made. So, that's that. If you guys ever hit a like on this video, send me a comment if you want me to do any more discussion from an economics perspective on why this happened and stuff like that. I could probably talk about it for like another 20 minutes or something, but I won't.
Hit us up with those hashtag AskAbsolutions in the chat.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Hit us with the Ask Absolution. Well, actually, before the Ask Absolution, one quick announcement. Actually, no, I'll end it with that. So, apparently Musketeers are the card of the day today.
That's a question mark, friend. That's a question. We don't know that.
Oh. I don't know
Maybe
that.
we did.
Yes. Did you see the new card of the day? I didn't. Wait, is it out, though? Because with Daylight Saving...
Was it a morning spoiler? I don't like those. No,
I'm going to go with no, I haven't.
Ooh,
People keep asking me about Musketeers.
they're
You'll never get me to like Musketeers.
Everyone keeps asking about Musketeers. I didn't see the show.
Oh, it's a grade 3 10K common.
Girls.
I don't like what I'm seeing.
Didn't that dude die in the episode? I heard he died in the episode. I heard he
got
he
kidnapped
showed up and then he died.
or went missing.
All right, got a couple of questions. Hashtag AskAbsolution. Who gets the next Legend deck? Well, it's either going to be Aichi or Masaki. For OTT's sake, I hope it's Masaki, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Aichi anyway.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. When will you guys be doing another rant? Eventually.
When
I don't know. We have to get
over again.
You guys have to realize that they, at this point, they're just like the Hulk ad. It's not just something they can kind of rant about anymore. It's just like, yeah, we're mad today. What's
Hit me up
new?
on Salty
The sky's
Bad.
blue.
Salty bad. Nate, what are your feelings about no shadows in the Absolution Classic? I was pretty surprised.
I really wasn't. It's kind of the calm before the storm. None of the shadows.
Oh,
are
here we go
great
again.
right now. They lose.
Kagaro's running the table in shadows.
Yeah, it was just. It was a meta call, and it was a very good meta call. So.
Hashtag Ask Absolution with Continental. Oh, well, okay, hold on. Do you think Bushiroad should print 2 tins or special editions? Sure, why not? But they won't. Oh, there you go.
What do we think of the Amaterasu G Guard? It was interesting. I like how you get to look for a trigger on top of your deck. But like I said, their mechanic's not very interesting. It's pretty easy, and I feel like because it's so easy, it's going to be pretty underpowered. So I'm just hoping that OTT gets something good other than what they currently are working with.
Ask Evolution, do you think the South American scene will get bigger? I'm from Chile, and would be interesting to know if you even know about our existence. I do know about South America. It does in fact exist. That being said, the Vanguard scene I don't know much about, unfortunately, except for when Bushiroad World Championships happened there. The problem is I don't think you guys have any kind of vendor that could perform a circuit in South America because it's across a lot of countries. It's a big continent, and then it's hard. I get could we do it one day? Probably not, but we are hopeful. Maybe I don't know. No. So this guy's asked this question twice. So I want to answer real quick. Hashtag Ask Absolution. This is for you, Ryan. With the Continentals and the North America Nationals left for the Bushiroad World Championship before Grand Finals, what are your thoughts on clan distribution tops overall in the country qualifiers? What are your thoughts?
goodness. I would say pretty much what you might expect. I mean, it's still so many gears, so it's just the gears party. That's what you get when you just dump all the support on the main character clan. That's just what you get.
You have 2 main characters that play the same clan. Enjoy.
And one of them's a lot better than the other. And that should tell you something. That his deck is played a lot more than the other main character who also plays the same deck. So, are we surprised? No. What's going to win? Gears. Bet, probably. We still haven't gotten the TikTok nerf over here either, so we'll see. But Grand Blue
Ryan,
also showing up in some way, shape, or form.
Tachi's again?
No Tachi. No Tachi. No touch.
I really hope 7 Seas Rush wins right in front of Bushiroad's eyes.
Just as long as Tim's not playing it, I'll be okay with that.
So, Twisted Death 63X asks us a big question, and I'm going to end it with this announcement because it leads right into it, and it's just very well done. So, he asks, what state would you like to have your next tournament? Hopefully Kentucky or Lexington. Sorry, it's not either one of those two. But we do get to announce, I think, Nate, I'm going to announce this, right?
Sure.
All right, sweet. So we are good to announce our second Team Absolution Fighters Classic. It'll be in Centersville. It'll be at a shop called Nate.
The Island Games. Obviously, Jose knows nothing about this. Why he wanted to announce it, I'll never know. This is also, I think, the first time you got the name right on camera. So congrats there.
Jose's being taken to the roast. Hey, will you round us out here?
Yeah, February.
Go ahead and answer the rest of the details, Nate.
4th, the Island Games in Centerville, Virginia. It is a Saturday again, so you can come up if you have to. We will probably be staying in a hotel, so don't feel bad if you have to, because I don't feel like driving 8 hours. But anyways, Saturday, we're starting registration at 11 and the tournament at noon. This is an hour later than we did the previous tournament. That's just because the Island Game doesn't open that early. So pushed it back an hour. Pretty much everything else will be the same. It's equally as good, if not better. That's all I have to say about it. Everything else is pretty much the same.
We will. Nate, I don't believe everyone got you on the when is it?
February 4th.
February 4th, and we will be making our marketing exploits will exceed our last marketing exploits. We'll be marketing very hard again to a lot of places, a lot of places, a lot of Facebook groups, and we're gonna make a video sooner this time so it doesn't go up a week before the actual event. It'll go up like in December or something, and then that way we'll be able to promote it. You guys will know. We'll talk about it in a lot of videos, and it'll be great.
It is right next to Washington, D.C., so if you're in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Kentucky area, perfect time for you to get involved.
It's going to be a fun tournament, just like the last one was. We'll try to I'm not going to make any promises. We'll try to figure out a way to stream for those, but I don't even know how the shop looks yet, so let me.
Wow.
Well, I haven't looked at it. You've looked at it. Very different.
You see who organizes these things? Thank you, everybody.
So, and with that, we're going to end Damage Check 65. We hope that you enjoyed. Make sure one last piece of news. I'm going to make sure that Nate puts all the damage checks on public right when they go up afterwards. That way, this stuff can get itself organized. And it's the Island Games for everybody. So, with that, we bid you adieu. We hope you have a great week. This is Team Absolution signing off. Peace.
Peace.